Keep going. Keep going. Yeah. Sorry on the front row. We might need some hearing protection, but that's going to help my voice. That's for sure. All right, we're going to talk just a minute about how this transformer works, the basics of it, guys. What we've got here is two coils of copper. Ryan, I'm gonna let you demo it. Well, you're not gonna be able to because you're gonna have to hose it away. What we got here is two coils of copper, guys, and I made this. We got black tape around to keep them getting shocked, but I made this as a science project for my son, and I'm still peeved that we didn't win anything. But a transformer works on induction, and you got a primary coil and a secondary coil. So this is a 60-to-1 ratio transformer. For every 60 wraps on the primary side, you got 1 wrap on the secondary side. If we multiply 60 times 240, because we got 120 to ground, 120 to ground, across them we got 240. If we multiply that 240 times that 60, we get 14.4. That's our nominal voltage at Walton EMC. Now, with powering up with this generator, it fluctuates a little bit. It might go to 16,000 volts, but on Walton's, its nominal voltage is 14.4. Well, this is our primary side, and once we energize that primary side, and we get this secondary side close enough, and it might be hard to see in the daylight, but that induction, you create that electrical field, and you got that light bulb. When inside that transformer, you've also got an iron core. And when you introduce that iron, that's just a piece of pipe that we cut. It's gonna magnetize that piece of iron, and it's gonna make that electrical field that much better. And you'll see, and it'll make that light bulb brighter when Ryan puts it on there, and you'll hear it. All right? That's why sometimes you hear those transformers humming. That's what's going on. Does that make sense as far as the transformer? How things work? All right. Ryan's gonna swap a plug right here. We have to run the contacts off 120. If we try to run it off the generator, it makes it chatter. So Ryan's got us plugged up right there. All right, like I said, guys, when we power up, we're gonna get the green light bulb. And then when we close our contacts, we're gonna get a red light bulb. From time to time, I'm gonna have to lay the mic down because I helped Ryan do the demo. So I'm sorry that I've got a wireless one, but it's not charged. And I apologize for that.
Hey guys, if you got a buggy parked on the asphalt up here, you need to go move it. You can't park up on the blacktop right there, so get that on the other side of the chain.
Thank you, sir. All right, Ryan just got our breaker on. So we've got power to our unit. See the green light going. When I close the contacts, we'll have, it'll be energized. Now what I've got right here is a meter that'll go from 1 volt to 99,000. And it'll also, you'll hear it beeping because it's a voltage indicator. So when I get close to high voltage, it'll beep as well. You ready, Ryan? All right, guys. I'm getting close because you can hear it beep. All right, guys, there's 15,000 volts right there. Now, Ryan, he's going to take what we call a shotgun stick. And the reason being for that, that's a slang name for it. Kind of sounds like a shotgun when you open and close it up. But he's going to take a metal rod here, and he's going to pull you, sir. Yes, sir. He's going to pull you an arc with it. Now, guys, you got to remember right here. You got to remember right here, this arc is not going to be tremendous. It's just enough to make you respect it. And the reason being for that, we're starting at 0 amps right here. But we're also pulling it off a small generator. If it was coming off a substation transformer, we were out on lines working out of a bucket truck, and we cross phases like that, it would be tremendous because you're dealing with a lot more amperage, and you're dealing with a transformer that might be up in the millions of volts. Does that make sense? All right, guys, next we're gonna do a hot dog. I get the gloves off. The reason we use a hot dog is because it simulates, or it's a good simulation of a finger. And I'm not gonna put it all the way on there just so you'll see how conductive it is. But that hot dog is just like a human, and human is one of the best conductors of electricity there is. You've got meat, moisture, fat, just like us, that hot dog. And it takes less than 1/3 of an amp to put your heart in VFib. To put that in perspective, it takes about an amp for a normal light bulb. So it takes very little to put your heart in VFib. All right, we're hot. Now, if you didn't hear that generator fire up, you'd never know that was energized. That's for lunch. Where'd that balloon go, Ryan? Or we can do a glove. Sorry. Sorry about that, guys. I'm not used to the mic. All right, we'll get it in just a second. We'll go ahead and do this glove. Guys, this is one of our gloves. It's a reject. We send them off every 30 days and have them tested. And you can see the test dates on this one, and you can also see where it was rejected. Well, I'll take these reject ones, Ryan and I, and we use them to demo to our apprentices. At Walton, you're 7 years from your hire date before you become a journeyman lineman. 2 years as a trainee, and then 5 years in an apprenticeship program. Well, it opens some eyes when I take that push pin and just put a small hole in that glove. Now, before every day or every job that we do at Walton, you're going to do any kind of energized work, you're supposed to roll your gloves up. And you're going to listen for air and check them to make sure that they're good. Because you'll see here in just a second, just that small pin prick is all it takes. Now Ryan's going to rub that glove all over the primary line, and you'll see that it's non-conductive until he finds that pin prick. Now if he was a lineman, he'd be out there working on the lines and everything would be fine until then. And that's all it takes, guys, is that one small mental mistake of not checking your PPE, and it can turn into major problems. Now I've got some simple dishwashing gloves here because we always get questions about rubber gloves. And some people just don't understand that those rubber gloves are not tested for 30,000 volts. They're not tested for any voltage. So you can't just use any type of glove to work on energized power lines. You throw it on the ground. We need a fire department. I'm just teasing. When I said that, I thought about, oh, we might call it. All right, where we going, Ryan? Ryan's gonna bridge the switch out here for us. And what I mean by bridging the switch, we're gonna go from top to bottom. And you don't give me a second, I'm gonna put my rubber gloves back on because I gotta help him out. But we're gonna take a small tree limb that we got here, guys. Because a lot of people have a misunderstanding about trees, even dead trees. Okay, it's right here, Ryan. Well, we got a small one right here we're gonna use. We're gonna test the smallest that I've ever used. But guys, trees are very good conductors of electricity. I tell this story every time, but a couple years ago, we had one of our consumers. He thought, hey, I'm gonna go cut down some trees in my yard. Well, he cut one down his power line. Well, I don't know why he didn't call us. I don't know if he thought he was gonna get charged, if he's gonna get in trouble. But he almost got in really, really trouble because he went back to the house and got the tractor and a chain. He came back, had the chain hooked to the tractor. As soon as he wrapped that chain around the stump of that tree, it knocked him to his knees. Now, it didn't kill him, and it didn't electrocute him, but he don't know how blessed he is to be alive because he was that close. So when we fired up right here, give me just a second because I'm gonna put my gloves on. I'm gonna put that voltmeter on there. You should see the light on that transformer. If Ryan can get both sides connected there, you should see the light on that transformer, so it's letting you know that that one little limb is picking up the load of that transformer. Light on. I don't know if you can see that, but right there on the branch is like 14,000 volts.
Oh shit.
13,000 volts right there, guys. That's one of those limbs. You can smell it start burning. I don't know if the ones in the back can see or hear that, but guys, there's 13, 14, 15,000 volts on that little bitty limb. And it was carrying that transformer, that light was on. So Ryan's getting a Mylar balloon right now, and some people laugh at these too when we do them in a demonstration. The guys, we deal with them from time to time because people like to use them at kids' parties and things of that nature. And they don't want to punch a hole in them. They want to let them fly off. And they end up in a power line, and some lineman's got to go get them down. So we're putting somebody in jeopardy to get this balloon down. But just like the tree limb, they are very, very good conductors of electricity. And when I heat this up, you'll hear it. And I'll put the mic up there if you can't hear it. But it would make a really good show at night. All right, guys, the light's on that transformer, so he's carrying load. 20,000 volts right there. You can hear it?
That's crazy.
Trailer's dead. You hear Ryan and I go back and forth sometimes. Trailer's hot, trailer's dead. We're just keeping each other safe because sometimes when I'm running my mouth, I forget that it's energized. All right, we got a ladder over here, guys, that we use in a demonstration as well. And we use it at a lot of fire departments in different places that we go to. And I know y'all get the picture that, hey, it's aluminum ladder. That's aluminum wire, okay? It's a conductor as well. But the reason we like to show this, guys, I've been in this job for 5 years now, like I said. Part of my job is to investigate accidents. Well, in 5 years, I've investigated 3 contacts, public contacts. 2 of them were fatalities. And it was all because they were carrying a ladder vertical instead of horizontal. Guys, if you don't take anything else away from this today, keep in mind when you go to do a job, to look at all of that job. Don't be focused on one thing and not focused on all of it, because that's when you get in trouble. And that's what got those guys in trouble. If they'd have just looked up and saw the power line, but they didn't, and they walked the ladder right into it, and that was the last day here on Earth. My voltmeter doesn't pick up, you can see the arc on it, but my voltmeter doesn't pick up as good on that aluminum, but you can still see that it's got 4,700, 4,800, 4,900 volts on it. All right, guys, we got one of our overshoes here, and I'm gonna talk just a second about our PPE and what we have to wear when we're working on anything energized. Ryan and myself both have on a hard hat that's rated at 20,000 volts. Rubber gloves and sleeves. The gloves are at 30,000, the sleeves are at 30,000. We've got on eye protection, we've got on FR clothing, we also have these overshoes on. Now, this overshoe, I put a screw in it, and I know y'all like, well, you put a screw in it. But it makes for a better presentation, it makes you understand. Because we go around to fire departments, and they wear the turnout boots. And people think, hey man, I got rubber boots on, I can walk through anything that's energized. Guys, the difference in a lot of the stuff we use, or all the stuff that we use, is tested. These shoes are the only thing that we have that we don't test. But if you look like on the bottom of that one, you saw a black wear spot on it. We trade them out. We keep an eye on our PPE. But all it takes, and Ryan will show you, just like with the glove, that shoe is not conductive until he finds that right spot. And all it would take is a hole punched in it. You can hear it? All it takes is a hole punched in that shoe, or that turnout boot, or that rubber boot, and that's it. Trailer's dead, babe. You want to do the trailer, or we got anything else? All right, guys, give me 1 second. Brian and I are going to set this trailer up on the trailer. We're going to put a trailer on the trailer, but we take this little trailer, and it simulates like a dump truck that has bed up, got it in the power lines, or a car that ran into a pole. There's a thing, or there's actually 2 things. It's called step and touch potential. I don't know if any of you have heard of that, but what it is, I don't know if you've ever thrown a rock out on a pond and you see those ripples. Electricity's doing the same thing. I'm sorry. Electricity's doing the same thing. When that car becomes energized, or that truck, or whatever it is, electricity's coming down and it's flowing into the ground, and it's trying to get back to where it was generated. So it starts out pretty strong, gets a little weaker, gets a little weaker, gets a little weaker, gets a little weaker. Well, if you step in between 2 of those fields, you just created a path for the electricity. So when I stepped from right leg to left leg, I gave it a path to flow. Now, what we try to teach people, and y'all as the public, if you come up on a wreck like that, somebody's in a car, there's wire down, pole down, what at night, you have no idea whether it's energized or not. Stay 50 feet back. Try to keep everybody else 50 feet back. Try to talk to that person in the car because I'm sure they're going to be upset. If that car can back away without doing any more damage to themselves or anything else, let them back out. If wires wrapped around it and they can't, you don't know if it's energized, just talk them. Try to get them calm. Let them stay in the car. If the car becomes ignited and is on fire, then you got to make that choice. Who wants to sit there and burn to death, and I'm going to try to get out, and that's what they're going to try to do. So what we teach is to get them to open that car door and turn in that car door and keep the feet together and just hop out. Don't jump so far that you're going to fall and create those two different potentials again. But they can either hop away or slide their feet and try to get out of that step potential. All right, I'm going to turn on the meter right here, and guys, again, if you didn't hear that generator fire up, or hear this meter, you had no idea that trailer was hot. Because there's no difference right there than right there, except that generator going up and down in RPMs. All right, right there is 15,000, 14,000 volts on that trailer. So it's sitting there energized, and don't laugh at our little stick man. But if you walked up to that trailer or that car and grabbed that door handle, you'd have no idea until then. And that's all it would take, guys. Trailer's dead. Now that was touch potential, and it's no different than step potential. Sorry. All right, guys, I'm going to ask y'all to give us just 1 second. We're going to change the trailer over from primary voltage to secondary voltage. We're going to blow a few fuses for you, operate that OCR, but we don't like doing it on primary voltage. We'd rather do it on secondary voltage. So it'll take us just 1 second. Guys, give us 1 more second. We had a piece of aluminum brake where we put our clamp on. And it's just over time, going back and forth so many times, it's broken. I'll let you get it, guys. It's like being back in the bucket, ain't right? Yeah. That'll probably work for the time being, buddy. If it don't, I'll blame it on you. break if you want to. Sorry about that, guys. You got it? There you go. All right, guys, we're going to operate this OCR, and you'll hear it if you're close enough. I'll try to hold the mic up there, but you'll hear it operating, and it's on what we call 4-shot. Now, there's a device up under here. It's actually made to protect the material of the equipment. It's called a 1-shot lever. And when we're out working on the lines, that's some of our protection, not only from apparatus there, but for us. If we get into anything, 2 different potentials, it'll only operate 1 time. Under normal circumstances, it's going to operate 4 times. It's energized. You'll hear it, guys. All right, on that 4-shot, when it couldn't clear the fault, thank you, sir. When it couldn't clear the fault, it opened up the breaker. So what we would do, we would get calls down the line. We come out, we ride by here, this device is open. We know we got trouble that way. So we can't do anything barehanded until we do what we call tag, test, and ground. Mine's taking those fingers off right there. And that would be getting us an air gap. Right here, without that barrel in, that's an air gap. On the other side is an air gap. Then we take a meter like this and check for voltage. No voltage, then we can apply our grounds. We take a ground, this is what we use right here. A 1/0 copper with clamps on it. We clamp it on the neutral, we clamp it on the primary, on both sides of the work area. And then we'll take a tag, just like this one. And we'll hang it on that device. It says hold tag, do not operate. Then we can come out of our gloves and sleeves or any of our PPE. Hands are sweaty. All right, guys, in the next demo, we're gonna blow a couple fuses. Give Ryan just a second. He's taking these clamps off, and we're gonna put this underground wire on. It's a piece of underground 2-aught wire. It's just like the 2-aught wire that's on this pole here. Same type, same make. And we're gonna show you about blowing a fuse. We do a lot of demonstrations for fire departments. Most firemen, they have 2 jobs, 3 jobs. And y'all may do that. And you may work outside. You may dig even at your house. And we try to teach people about 811. 811, you call before you dig. It's the only thing I know of you can get free. They'll come out and locate it. But you just gotta plan your work. It takes 3 days for them to clear. But after they clear, we'll have everything marked and you can go to digging. All right? Where's my hole diggers and my shovel? All right, guys, there's a shovel right here that dug into some underground service. You see that piece missing? That was from an energized underground service. There's a set of hole diggers right here that dug into some energized primary. That was on 14.4. Well, I get the question, hey man, that's fiberglass too. The sticks y'all are using are fiberglass. The difference is everything we use is tested. These sticks are tested every 2 years, 100,000 volts per foot. That's an OSHA mandate. You can look at this shovel handle. It's faded out. It's got wear on it and could have oil, grease, dirt, and it's not tested. So you got no idea whether it's conductive or non-conductive. All right, I got to get my glove back on, but when I do, guys, when I touch this shovel against the primary underground there, it's gonna blow a fuse. So you might want to stick your fingers in your ears. I'm gonna let y'all hold this mic because I don't want it to amplify that. All right, guys, y'all ready? Every once in a while we have to do it, so don't laugh at me when I do it. Ready, Ryan? All right, here we go, guys. One more time. All right, ready? Guys, a lot of times that fuse blows like that, exceeded that amperage of that fuse. Thank you, man. See, I tell you, I get to run my mouth. Appreciate you taking care of me. And a lot of times when that happens, people think that the transformer blew up. But 99 out of 100 times, it's that fuse barrel. And we'll talk about it at the end. Just because that fuse barrel's hanging down doesn't mean it's de-energized. Ryan swapping it over. We have a lot of problems with squirrels. We got old Sparky right here. And I know y'all say, hey, it's got a piece of copper in it. I know it's gonna blow a fuse. But they won't let us use live squirrels. So I had to put some copper on it. But the point here is, because we get the question, hey, how can that bird sit on that wire and not electrocute him? I can sit on that wire if I didn't touch anything but that one wire. But when he touches that second potential, just like this transformer right here, this is a steel case. Inside of it's 14,400 volts. This is what we call a squirrel guard. We started using them several years ago. That squirrel will stand here on the grounded transformer lid. When he reaches up and hits that 14.4, boom, blows the fuse and kills him. But we got an outage going. And there's multiple different animals that get on top of the transformers and do that, believe it or not. But we do this demonstration just to let you know that all it takes is two different potentials to get electrocuted. It's awful. I got a helper right here. He keep an eye on me. Thank you, by the way. I do too. The Brown will never leave each other off. Sparky used to squeak too, but I think he's had one too many shots. All right, guys, when I hit this switch, we're gonna blow one more fuse. Y'all ready? So here we go. Yeah, Sparky might be done. He might be part of lunch too. All right, guys, this triplex that we got on the transformer here, y'all have seen the transformer come energized multiple times a day. And you may be wondering why does that triplex not grounded down? You're not short the fuse out. Because it's got insulation on the hot legs. But sometimes Mr. Squirrel, he loves aluminum wire. And you can see here where he's chewed that neutral completely in two. Sometimes they'll even chew on the hot legs. They'll chew that insulation off, or over time, it will fall off, get brittle and fall off. Well, that is good triplex, and it's working. But if it was laying down on the ground here, and it had a bare spot on it, and you reached down and picked it up, y'all all know, I'm sure being electricians, that low voltage is gonna make your muscles contract, and it's gonna grab you and not let you go. I told the group before, we had a statewide safety meeting a couple months ago, and there was a gentleman in Georgia, was on his roof, working on his house. For some reason or another, he grabbed the entrance wire and it got him. And he couldn't let go. He had to jump off the house to let go. Which he survived, but he had some injuries. But I tell you that to say this. This demo, y'all seen all day long, is pulled off a little 5,000 watt generator that you can go buy at Home Depot or Lowe's or wherever you want to. And we're backfeeding it. And y'all see what kind of voltage we pull off backfeeding. It's no different being out there on the lines. You just don't have the same amount of amperage. Still deadly. But let me get these gloves off. But when people go and buy those generators at the different home improvement stores, somebody will give them the wise idea to cut the female end off and get another male end. And you can plug it into the generator and plug it into a outlet and have your house on. Or you can get you another 220 plug and get the whole house back on. Well, the problem with that is, if you don't cut that main breaker off, or that meter's not pulled, you're backfeeding it out here on this line. That transformer is going to do just like what we said it would do. It's going to go through their low voltage and come out high voltage. Now, at Walton EMC, if we do everything we're supposed to do, that tag testing ground, we'll burn the generator up. But you might have triplex on the ground like that. You can have a transformer like that feeding 3 or 4 different houses. Y'all see how quiet a generator can be this day and time. You got triplex laying down here. You got number 2 house over there, he's got his generator going. He didn't flip a breaker or pull a meter. You see that barrel hanging out, hey, that's dead. I'm gonna go throw that out of the way. It could be backfeeding on you, so be careful. Storms, it's always an abnormal. Not always the abnormal, but a lot of times it's abnormal is what gets people. I can't think of anything else. Y'all have any questions? Comments? We appreciate you. Appreciate you having us down.